Hello, and welcome back to the Budget Knitter podcast. My name is WSpargurKnits. I am your host. I'm coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, where I live with my 2 dogs and my husband. And today is episode number 21. Or 21. I don't know. Anyway, if you've never been to my podcast before, you can find me on Ravelry as WSpargurKnits. You can find me on Instagram as WSpargurKnits. You can find me on Twitter as WSpargurKnits. I'm sorry, Instagram is WillMSU. I really should make all of these the same thing, but I haven't done that yet. Instagram is WillMSU. There's a Facebook group for this page, or this podcast, which is facebook.com/thebudgetknitter. There is also, I have an Etsy store. I'm so new to saying that. I've only had it for a few weeks. So there's an Etsy store. That's thebudgetknitter.etsy.com. So you can find me there. I sell hand-dyed yarn, stitch markers, and a few of the projects that I finished that I don't intend to gift anybody or anything like that. So those are available. I do have a shop update coming soon, and there's more information about that later in the podcast. There are a couple of Ravelry threads I want to bring your attention to, because there is a Ravelry group for this podcast, which is the Budget Knitter Podcast. You can search that and find it. The couple of threads we have, I'm looking here at my notes. I actually made a lot of notes this time because I wanted to remember a lot of things. The first is we're having a charity along. So on this channel, I want you to participate if you're interested in doing a charity along, which is anything that you knit, crochet, sew. It's a craft along, essentially. Anything that you've crafted, as long as it's a finished object. What I want is a picture of the object, what it is, and who you're donating it to, if that's an organization or a person specifically, or maybe a hospital or something like that. I want to know who you're donating it to. I know we've had a couple for Project Linus and a couple for the VA. So those, I want to know what that is, and for every project that you complete, that you give me all of those things, the picture, what it is, and who you're donating to, you're entered into a giveaway or for a prize. I have not determined exactly what that prize is just yet, but we are going through the end of September, I believe is what I said last time. So you have plenty of time to enter that. This is just one of those things where this community has given me so much, and the world, I guess, really has given me so much, and I want to give back to the world that has given to me. So I'm hoping that you'll participate. There have been several entries so far, but I'm hoping that you will participate, and I will continue to remind you about this because this is something that I'm kind of becoming more passionate about, especially as I kind of go through my day-to-day life and realize that there are a lot of people that I encounter who don't, as bad as my life can seem, I tend to encounter a lot of people who tend to have things worse than I do, and to me that's not fair. So I want to do what I can to give back, and right now the best that I can do is use my stash to give people the gift of warmth in the winter, or just something nice to hold on to. So that's what I'm doing right now. I hope you'll participate. That thread is in the Ravelry group. A couple of other threads I want to remind you about. There is a thread, something about questions for the Budget Knitter. I want to do more question and answer videos, and so far I've only gotten about 7 questions so far, and I want you to ask me questions so that I can do these question and answer videos. And the format is you ask me a question and then you answer that same question. So, where are you from? I am from da-da-da-da-da. So that thread is in there. The third thread that I want to bring your attention to is comments or concerns for the Budget Knitter, things that I can do to improve the podcast, or things that I can do to better serve you as an audience. I can take criticism. Don't worry about offending me in any way, I promise. The only reason I'm asking is because I definitely want to know how I can serve you better. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, even if you just want to drop by and say, hey, I love everything you're doing, you're welcome to do that in that thread as well. So those are the 3 threads that we have going in Ravelry. Other than, of course, we have our finished objects of 2018. So anything from January 1st to December 31st of this year. If you finish something, oops, I am so sorry. This is on loud. If you have anything that you finish in the year of 2018, post that in the finished objects of 2018. There's no giveaway or anything associated with that thread. I just feel like we should definitely be celebrating the finishing of objects. I know that I definitely feel good when I finish an object, so I hope that you do too, and I just want to celebrate that with everybody who participates. So we have that going on. So today I have actually a lot of different things to show you, a lot of different things that I've worked on, things that I'm currently working on, things I've just finished, some new acquisitions. There's a lot of things going on, so we're just going to kind of move right through this podcast, but of course we're going to start right with things that I'm up to right now. So the first thing is my direct supervisor at work just resigned. His last day is June 15th, which is just in a couple of weeks. And that's kind of a big deal because he's kind of been the glue for our team. But he's going to be moving to Yellowstone National Park, and he's going to be working there. Which actually is a really great thing for him. He loves to hike, he loves nature, he actually does a lot of nature photography. So I know that that's going to be a really great thing for him, and he's chasing his dreams, so I couldn't be happier for him. But, you know, it's just kind of one of those things like, wow, we didn't even know he was, you know, thinking about these things. So that kind of came as a shock, but that means that his position is now open, and that's an opportunity, and I've been working with him really closely over the last couple of months, and so I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Sorry about that, I got a phone call from my sister. Anyway, say whatever prayer, seance, thought that you do that I can get a promotion, because I would really love to be able to move up a little bit, just a little bit. I don't, you know, I'm not looking to be the CEO or anything, but, you know, just a little bit further up in the company would be nice. So fingers crossed for that. Second, my rent is going up. I don't pay a whole lot in terms of, you know, the city of Vegas. I actually have a pretty good rent, in comparison, but, you know, the carpet needs to be replaced, and the HOA fees have gone up, and insurance has gone up for my landlord, and so he's looking at, raising it anywhere from $75 to $100 for the next lease term, and that's in 3 months, and it's kind of one of those things where, like, this promotion couldn't come sooner enough if I were to get promoted, because it's going to kind of be eaten up by the fact that my rent is going up, and it's just one of those things where I was really hoping that the value would stay where it is, because my landlord keeps saying, well, you know what the rent is in Vegas, right? You know what the rents are going for and how much everything is, and I don't think he's doing the same searches I'm doing, because I can find 1 bedrooms for $500 and I'm paying $625 right now. Granted, those are through, like, companies where they have, like, a whole unit or whatever, but it's just, I get it. He needs to continue to make his income, but he has 16 properties and they're all completely paid off. Like, he's not paying mortgages or anything like that. It's just pure profit. And it's just one of those things where I'm like, I've been a great tenant. I haven't done anything that, you know, causes you any undue burden. I rarely call you. I will make my own repairs unless it's something huge. You know, I'm getting ready to patch the wall in the bathroom with a towel bar ripped out, and I need to replace the locks because the key doesn't work on the deadbolt anymore. But, you know, these are things that I'm able to do. It's not a lot of money, and I'm going to do it because it'd be cheaper and faster for me to just take care of it on my own than to have my landlord do it. And I know there's a lot of people who are saying, well, your landlord's the one that's responsible. And yes, I understand that, but at the same time, like, I'm trying to live very independently, and not having to involve my landlord is kind of my way of being like, look, I can take care of things on my own, and I don't need to call you for every little problem. And anyway, my rent is going up and I'm not too thrilled about it. Granted, I am getting new carpet out of the deal, so it's not like I'm just paying higher rent. I'm getting new carpet. And it's really funny because I have this ugly green carpet, and my landlord, when I discussed replacing the carpet, was very much, what were his words? I hate that ugly green carpet. I think is exactly what he said. I wish I had known that before we moved in, because we could have taken care of this at the beginning and not had to worry about it, but whatever. Oh, speaking of things that have been done in the condo, so the last time it rained, which it only rains 3 times a year here in Vegas, the last time it rained, my upstairs neighbor left his balcony sliding door open, so it flooded his apartment and then it leaked down into mine. Luckily, it only sort of leaked, and all it did was really stain my ceiling. It didn't, like, drip or anything onto my floor, which is good. Otherwise, they'd be replacing the carpet now. So, the realty company that owns the unit above me has... They sent in a contractor to repaint the ceiling because it was stained, and you can't just, like, paint over stain. You know, the condo hasn't been repainted in like 7 to 8 years, so it needed to be repainted, and in order to do that, the guy was going to just have to repaint the entire ceiling, and this is the contractor from the realty company above me. So he goes to do that. He comes in, and originally he told me he'd need the whole day. I took off work, I canceled my rehearsals and things that I needed for that Saturday, and said, okay, I'm free for the day, and he said, I'll be there in the morning, and we'll get this taken care of, you know, I'll need the whole day. He comes in, he does this thing, he's here for 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Not 2 days later, my husband Lee is like, have you seen my Apple Watch? I'm like, well, yeah, it's either in the box by the laundry hamper or it's on the bookshelf right next to it. Because I couldn't remember exactly the order of events of either putting in the box or taking it out of the box and putting it on the bookshelf, but I knew it was in one of those 2 places. And it was a brand new Apple Watch, the Series 3. We had discussed a little bit about getting one, and you know he really wanted it, and it was something that I was like, okay, it's fine, it's not that big of an expense to get it through AT&T and pay monthly on it. 2 days after the contractor's here, Lee asks me where it is. I tell him it's not there. It's not in the box because he's emptied it and put everything away. It's not on the bookshelf. I'm like, those are the only 2 places it could be. Those are the only 2 places I've put it. Long story short, I have moved every piece of everything that I own in this house. That watch is missing. It's gone. And it was in a place that I know the contractor was in. And right now I'm 90% sure that the contractor stole it from my home. And I guess I should have been suspicious when he said he needed the whole day and then was only here for 45 minutes. And he did a really crap job of repainting my ceiling. Because my landlord was here, and he was like, yeah, no, this isn't gonna pass. He didn't even use a brush. He didn't put enough paint on his roller. Like, this isn't good enough. And we've been trying to get a hold of the realty company, and nobody is answering the phone. And at this point, I'm starting to think that the realty company is a front for a theft ring. And it's really, really making me angry because, 1, my ceiling isn't done properly, and 2, a brand new piece of expensive technology is missing from my home around the same day that somebody that I didn't know was in my home. So that's happening, and I don't really know how to deal with it. It's one of those things where, like, because I also have a really bad memory, and there's a good possibility that I misplaced it, but I have looked everywhere, and I can't find it. And it's driving me insane because I can't accuse somebody without 100% certainty, and I can't reach 100% certainty because I really just, I don't remember. The only thing I really have to go on is I have literally moved everything that I own. Moved furniture out from the wall, I've lifted cushions, I've moved blankets, I have literally looked in my refrigerator, and I can't find it. And so that's what I'm basing this on, but unfortunately that's not good enough. So I'm really frustrated because I don't know whether to be angry, frustrated, or just sad. And at this point I don't even really know what to do because I can't track it, it's dead, I can't call it, AT&T doesn't insure it. So it's like, I'm still on the hook for this financially, but I don't have it, and I have no way of getting it back. So it's just one of those things where I don't know what to do now. Other than that, my flute choir had a board meeting recently. It was kind of a bitch fest. Excuse my language. We hadn't met in over a year, and a lot of people just brought up a bunch of crap that they weren't happy with, and it was an insane meeting. I will just say that. It was ridiculous. Nobody could really agree on anything. It was one of those things where so many people were threatening to quit over this or that, and the only thing I could do was speak up and be like, look, if I didn't believe in this group, I wouldn't still be here. And the only reason I come is because I think we still have a great... there's an outcome that we haven't reached yet that I still believe we can achieve. And, you know, I try to be a peacekeeper. Long story short, in terms of the things that are going on in my life, I have had a very stressful week. And so because of that, let's move on to the knitting, because that relaxes me. I know you didn't come here for a rant fest, but thank you for listening. So let's move on to the knitting, because I think that's going to relax me as much as it'll probably relax you. Okay, I'm going to take a deep breath. Okay. I have a lot of things to show you. It's been 2 weeks since the last podcast. So let's go into the works in progress. I have a few things. I don't have anything that's new, but I do have some progress on some older things. So what's first here? Okay, so I have a coworker who is pregnant. She is due first 2 weeks of August, somewhere in there. So I've been making her a baby blanket, and that has been a task. I've been trying to do a granny square a day, just a small little square. Actually, I think I have one here I can show you. So I've been trying to do a granny square a day, just 6 rounds on a, what size hook am I using? This is a 5mm hook. I don't know what the US size is, because this is a generic one I got from like eBay or something. So I've done 22 squares. This is Baby B Sweet Delight Prince Springtime Melodies. And I don't know if this has a specific colorway. Oh, the colorway is Springtime Melodies 416. And it has a lot number, but I'm not worried about it. It's 60% acrylic, 40% nylon. It is, I believe, they're calling it a DK weight, but I'm going to call it fingering because it's thin. But I am, well, it says a number 3, so DK. It says, well, it says light. So I'm going to go with, it's a light DK because it's a almost sport weight. But, it's 345 meters, or 377 yards for 115 grams. And I had 3 balls of it. Again, it's yellow, pink, blue, gray, and white. I'm using that. But I had made 21 squares as of yesterday, and I decided, the funny thing about crochet is that my gauge changes so much. And sometimes when I start a project on crochet, my gauge is different than when I finish the project on crochet. And sometimes it changes day by day, and I've been trying to really work on my tension, because I'm still relatively new to crocheting. So what I wanted to do is I had made 21 squares, and I knew I was doing 7 by 7, except this time I think I'm gonna do 7 by 6. Because I like rectangles, I don't like square blankets. I don't know why, it just bothers me. But the other thing is that I've pieced 3 rows together, and it's gonna be bigger than I thought it was gonna be. But so here it is. I have this is 7 by 3 so far. And the funny thing about this is, because my gauge had changed, Some of these granny squares were really small compared to some of the others where I finally kind of figured out how to loosen up my tension a little bit. So as I started crocheting these together, the smaller ones spread out a little bit. But I don't know if you can tell, some of these are definitely tighter than the others. And I didn't slip stitch. I actually, I single crocheted the squares together. And I'm using a Caron Simply Soft as the one to put, to single crochet the squares together. And it's got a really nice sheen, and it's pink, and I don't know what the colorway name is right off the top of my head. I think I threw the label away, actually. But that was one of those yarns that was just given to me. So I'm working on that, and the idea is I need to have this done by July 1st, because she's having a baby shower, and I want to be able to give it to her then. So that's what's going on. There's a lot of ends. The ends on the edge, I plan to kind of just crochet over when I do the border for this, which I think I might do in a light blue Caron Simply Soft, which I also have. But in terms of, so on the back, I've got from all of the centers of the squares, like here, or, well, basically the centers of all of the squares where that magic pool circle thing is. I need to weave all of those in towards the end, but I'm trying to, as I assemble all of the squares and rows together, I'm trying to crochet over all of the edges that I possibly can, so that I have to do less weaving in later. So that's what's going on with that. I hope, let's see, I only have to do 3 more rows, which is 20 more squares, so I'm hoping that I can have it done by her baby shower. You will see more progress on that very, very soon. Okay, what is next? Oh, so for those of you doing the knit along, we have the flax sweater, and I'm going to show you kind of what I got going on that. Whew, I have forgotten how to do anything. So first of all, I'm keeping it in a bowl because I found that it is much better, especially when knitting the sleeves, that I can just rotate the bowl instead of having to pick up and rotate the entire project. So that's working out really well. But so I've got this sleeve going, and I have decreased 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times out of, I think, 11. I think I have to decrease 11 times. So I'm working on that. The problem is that I'm doing this on a 16-inch circular, and I've reached a point where the stitches don't fit around the circular anymore. So I'm going to have to move to double pointeds, and I just haven't done that yet. I do have a second ball tied in from where I did the knit along update with everybody. That is tied in on this other side. I'm using a different color. Again, my intent is not to make this match. For those of you that don't know, this is the flax sweater by Tin Can Knits. I am knitting it in Lion Brand Mandala. This is a DK weight yarn. The pattern calls for worsted, but I've knit one in worsted and it was slightly too big, so I kept the same needle size, which is US 8, and I've decided to do it in DK. I have tried this on and it fits just that much better, and I love it. It's actually a much better fit, so I'm excited about that. I think I've kind of found my sweater formula. If I were to knit another one in worsted, I'd probably just go down a needle size to US 7 instead of US 8. But so that's what's going on with that. And I think the biggest challenge with knitting this sweater is that the body is stockinette, and so you just keep knitting and knitting and knitting. But because these stripes were so wide, oops, the stripes on the body of this were so wide, I felt like I wasn't getting anything done. But when you finally reach the length that you're supposed to reach, and then you start doing the ribbing, it goes much faster and you feel a little bit better, especially when you finally get that bind off for the body done. Because once you pick up the stitches for the sleeves and you start knitting around, it goes so much faster, and I tell you what, I am so excited. I know I'm coming down to the end of this. For those of you who are doing the knit along, we're almost done. We're coming down to the wire, and I'm really excited, and I hope you are too, because I can't wear this for what, another 6 months because Las Vegas is constantly just hot. But I'm really excited to at least be able to try it on and show you what I've done. And anytime I finish a sweater, this is number 3, anytime I finish a sweater, I just feel really good about it because it is such a big undertaking. Like, it's a huge project. So I'm really excited about that. There's not really a whole lot to show about it, just the fact that I've tried to pick it up and work on it a little bit as much as I can. Whoops, I'm dropping a lot of stuff. Third thing. Yes. Okay, so in my knitting unicorn bag, I have some socks. And I've shown these a couple of times, but I think the last time I showed it on a podcast, I had only finished... Well, I hadn't even finished one yet, I don't think. So, here's one. Sorry, this is... I fold them one way, but then when I want to show them, I need to have them assembled the other way. These are the socks I'm knitting for my sister. She requested this yarn, or socks made out of this yarn. This is Peyton's Croy FX. It's like 50% elastic or something. I don't know the colorway. I know that it's just kind of a green, yellow, red, kind of like a camo colorway. Anyway, so this is knit on US 2s. I'm using a 9-inch circular, but I have finished one except for weaving in the last end. That's why it's on this stitch marker. But I have finished that. And on the second one, I am only so far away from finishing the second one. And I'm really excited about that. To be honest, I probably could have finished it today, but I was dyeing yarn today, so I didn't. But I'm maybe 30 rows from finishing this one as well. And I love this. So my current sock formula is toe up, and I do the Turkish cast on, but I think I'm going to try Judy's Magic cast on next time. But for the toe, since I hate magic loops, somebody showed me how to do it on 2 circulars. So that's kind of my thing, is to do toe up, doing the toe increases on 2 circulars, and then knit a couple rows just to get everything set, and then I'll switch to my 9-inch circular. I'll knit the foot, and then I do a German short row, boomerang heel. And now with that, I do a German short row technique when you're doing the initial short rows. And then when you go back to do the second half of the heel, instead of doing a German short row or anything, I just do a slip stitch. There's a great video that I saw about the 3 different sock heel German short row techniques that I've seen. So that's what I used for this. And it's basically just a slip stitch instead of a German short row on the second half of the heel. And there are no holes in this. It is beautiful. Now, I did have to pick up in the corners, but I do that every time, regardless of whether or not I actually need to. That's just more for my sanity. And then after I finish the heel, I just knit up. And the whole reason I'm doing this toe up and now is because this is my year of trying to not have leftover yarn. I'm trying to knit through what I have before I really go and buy any more. I have bought a couple of things yarn-wise. Excuse me. But in terms of knitting currently, I'm trying to use what I have, and so I'm trying to knit as much of the yarn that I has left, which means this is going to be a really tall sock. Now, for since I haven't gotten to the cuff on that one, this is 1x1 rib for the cuff. It's really hard to see just because of this yarn, but it's 1x1, and then for the bind off, a lot of people are like, well, use the super stretchy bind off, and that's fine, but I've done a pair of socks with the super stretchy bind off, and it wasn't really working out. It was still really tight where I didn't want it to be tight. So I looked up something else, you know, for some of the stretchiest bind offs. The yarn over bind off. That is what I used on the top of this. I have tried this sock on, and it goes halfway up my calf. The bind off is not tight, and it still has room to stretch, and it's at 64 stitches on a US 2. So, yarn over bind off, for sure, on socks. I don't really care about this flare. Like, when I'm wearing it, who's gonna see that? Like, the fact that, look how far that stretches. Look how far that stretches. That is insane. That is great. I'm going to use that forever on the cuffs of my socks. I don't really care what it looks like when I'm not wearing it, because when I wear it, that's what matters. And the fact that I can get it halfway up my calf and it's not tight or cutting off my circulation or leaving a weird line and it's still stretchy, that's definitely a plus in my book. So the yarn over bind off, for those of you who don't know what that is when you're doing a bind off, you knit one, knit a second one to start. You knit one and then you knit another one, you bind off the first stitch, then you do a yarn over and you bind off the next stitch over the yarn over. Then you knit one, bind off, yarn over, bind off. Knit one, bind off, yarn over, bind off. I tell you what, it's not, you don't use it for everything. There's not really a reason to use it for everything, but in terms, like for me, socks, when you're knitting toe up, yarn over, bind off, it's amazing, it's stretchy, you don't have to do weird calf increases, at least I don't, and it fits beautifully. So do that. Now, here's the other thing with my socks. I'm almost done knitting those. So, I have a question. I'm getting ready to start another pair because I always have to be knitting socks. Do I knit Carlton sock weight? Look at this, look at these colors. I really love this. This is beautiful. It's 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon. Beautiful. It'll be perfect for socks. I love it. I love these colors. I think it'll knit up really cool. It's definitely a self-striping yarn. I think it'll be cool. But I have this. I have no idea what it is, but I know that somebody was initially trying to knit a sock with it when it was given to me, and I unraveled it and rehanged it. It's really elastic. It's got a lot of elastic in it. Super soft, super stretchy. I really love this yarn. And I can really only knit one pair at a time because I only own one 9-inch circular. So, which one should I do? Which one do you think that I should do? Because I'm planning to cast on here very soon. So, like, literally within 2 to 3 days of this podcast going up, I'm going to have to make a decision. So, let me know in the comments which one should I do. Moving along. Oh my gosh, I didn't think about how much I have to show you, and I think my phone's actually about to die. So, we're gonna have to move through this. Okay, so, finished objects. I don't really have any finished knitting objects, but I do have a lot of finished crochet objects, and all they are bags. So, I've been trying to use up my scrap yarn, and I found a beautiful market bag pattern by Jada in Stitches, except hers has like a really long strap so that you can hang it over your shoulder. I didn't really have enough yarn in my scraps to do that, so I did something that my friend Angel showed me, which is to do a chain and then over that, so it creates a nice handle. And I've made several of these. These are just 100% acrylic, single crochet. I just modified Jada's bag pattern, and instead of doing straps, I did these handles. But, so I've got this one, which is beautiful. I love the spiral dark blue that it made. That's actually what I'm keeping my baby blanket in. I turned them into project bags, not gonna lie. The second one here, this is a little bit bigger, a little bit chunkier yarn. I don't even know what this is. Angel gave this to me. They just came in balls, and I just used them. So this is blue, gold, and this is purple with purple speckles. I don't know how well you can see that. But love this. This is holding my boneyard shawl in it. So again, I turned all of these into project bags because I'm fabulous. Anyway, oh, sorry, I had church this morning, and they made me sing tenor. And I hadn't sung in a while because they had me playing. They had me playing flute. So that didn't go well. Anyway, bag number 2. And then this is bag number 3. I actually kind of designed this. Like, I used the same bottom pattern, but instead of holding yarn to, these bags all use yarn held double if it's worsted weight. If it's chunkier, it's fine. But this was actually a worsted weight yarn held single on a US 8. And this bag is 100% a single thread without cutting. I did the bottom, then I did the strap back and forth, connecting it to either edge, and then when I got back around here, I crocheted the flap and the border. I never cut the yarn to make this bag. And I wish it had been a little bigger. I still think it's cute. I think it's absolutely adorable. I want to make a bigger version because this is definitely now more of a purse than it is a bag. But I took this bag with my socks in it and I put it down in this bag. And this is how I've been carrying my socks around. Just because, you know, I like to show off the crochet bags. It's a conversation starter. People are like, oh, that's so cute. Will you make me one? Blah, blah, blah. And the answer is no. I'm kidding. If you're willing to pay me, the answer is yes. If you're not willing to pay me, the answer is no. Because, really... okay, that sounds really pretentious, and I'm sorry. When I make things for me, I don't have a problem. When somebody comes up, like, especially at work, and especially if I don't know you, or I've only ever seen you and I don't even know your name, if you come up to me and ask me if I'll make you something and you don't, like, offer to pay for it, the answer is probably going to be no. Because as much as I'm just trying to use scrap yarn, which is all this really was like, a leftover ball of Karen Big Cakes, at the same time, like... if I make it for me, that's different. If I'm making it for someone else and I have to sell it, then I have to really think more about the quality, and I have to think about, you know, trying to get it out to you in a timely manner. So if you don't offer to pay me for it, the answer's probably going to be no. Even if it's $5, like, I just offer something. Don't just ask me for something for free, because this takes time. And, I mean, yeah, you see me knitting or crocheting at work, but that's on my break. If you want it as soon as some of you have asked for it, pay me. Just $5, even just $5, like something. Or make me food. Food is a perfectly acceptable form of payment. I will always take food, except seafood. Do not offer me seafood. If you offer me seafood or sushi, no. But anything else, I'm fine. Just some form of payment for my time, because, you know, those aren't the fastest project. I mean, they're quick, but they're not the fastest. Okay. Oh, right. Okay, so I have some acquisitions. I'm sorry, I'm a little all over the place today. I have some acquisitions, and they're not yarn acquisitions or project acquisitions or anything like that. I was at Target, and I was at the $135 bin thing at the front of the store. And if you don't know, June is now Pride Month. So for LGBTQ people, today is Pride Month. I don't know if you can hear my weird phone ringing in the background. I've got this weird survey company calling me all the time. I don't know why. That is really annoying. Anyway, so Pride Month is this month, and Target has a lot of Pride things in their $135 bins. So, I bought a few things because I couldn't resist. First thing, I bought this hat. It's got a rainbow heart on it. It's a little small for my head, but they didn't really have any other choices, so I guess I'm gonna go with it. I also just have a really big head, so this probably just looks really weird on me, but I also don't care. So, there's that cute hat. I got this water bottle that says, "Yas," and that's one of my favorite sayings, so I picked this up. It's super cute, super durable, and for $3, definitely couldn't pass that up. And then I got several really, really cute things. This is a plastic kind of tote bag. This is definitely going to become a project bag, but it feels really durable. It's kind of like just a, you know, there's not a whole lot of substance to it, but for what I'm going to use it for, this is perfect. But then, guess what? They had so many cute canvas totes. Look at this. It says "Together" on it, and it's rainbow, and it's huge, and it's canvas, and it was only $3. And guess what? Wait. They had another one. Oh. It's stuck. Hold on. And it says yes! So of course I was gonna pick that up because it's super cute! And then the third one, look, it's rainbow! And guess what, it's in the canvas tone, it's only $3! Yeah! Anyway, I am super excited about it. Anyway, I have all these really cute tote bags now for project bags, and I'm really excited about it because I don't really own a whole lot of Pride gear, and that comes from, some people will call it like deep-seated internalized homophobia. I don't have internalized homophobia. I don't have a problem with being out. I just don't like to, I don't like Pride. And that's a really heated statement. I don't like being a spectacle at Pride, if that makes sense. It's really hard to verbalize what I mean. And I don't have a problem with Pride parades. I don't have a problem with Pride events. I don't have a problem with Pride. I don't have a problem with people who want to go to Pride. I don't have a problem with people who like to go and just have a great time and be themselves and be open and be whatever they want to be at Pride. Or in their everyday life. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I don't like crowds. I don't really like people. That sounds worse than it is. I don't like strangers. I don't like crowds and I don't like strangers, so I especially don't like crowds of strangers. I don't care how inclusive the group is or is trying to be. I am really uncomfortable in a crowd of strangers. And Pride, even as inclusive as it wants to be and wants me to be there, and a lot of people are like, no, it's great, it's so much fun. I get that, and I don't have a problem with that. I just don't like crowds of strangers. It causes me anxiety. I don't feel good in those situations. It causes me a lot of fear, even if I have nothing to be afraid of. And so this is how I do Pride. I will be happy with who I am, and I will talk about who I am as if it's completely normal, but I won't go to Pride because it just freaks me out. It just scares me, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the people or the events or anything like that. It's just a trigger for me, and it would happen regardless of whether it was a because we have that electronics convention that comes here. That would make me equally as uncomfortable as Pride would make me, and it just has to do with crowds of strangers. It has nothing to do with anything other than that. So this is how I'm showing my Pride. I am willing to be silently proud because that's the best I can do right now. And I'm sure there are still some people who are like, well, that's still internalized homophobia, and that's your opinion, and that's fine. I don't really know how else to explain it to anybody, that it has absolutely nothing to do with internalized homophobia. It has everything to do with the fact that I really just don't like being around crowds of strangers. So there's that. But I'm really excited about those bags because they're super cute, and I'm going to carry my knitting in them, and that's how I'm going to show my Pride. Definitely this month, I'm going to carry my knitting to work or wherever I go in those bags. So it's kind of just a silent Pride. Okay, I have a few other updates for you. First thing is, somebody reached out to me from Frayed Knot Bags. That's FRAYED Bags. That is their Etsy store. They make these beautiful project bags, and she's going to send me one so that I can show you her workmanship. But I did check out her Etsy store, and they are absolutely gorgeous, and I cannot wait to receive my bag. So if you are the person who likes to buy project bags, I will leave a link to her shop in the video description box below. Go and check out her shop. She has so many beautiful bags. I'm not even kidding. My favorite is the unicorn bag, but there's so many beautiful bags, and they're decently priced. I think the average was about $25, which in terms of what I've seen in other project bags, the average seems to be about $45. So $25 for a, I just did an Alyssa Edwards thing. Anyway, $25 for a project bag, absolutely gorgeous. From the pictures, the workmanship is beautiful. So Frayed Knot bags. Again, link is in the video description box below. Check out the shop, support her, because I know that this is something that, you know, she takes a lot of passion in. So if that's something that you like to do or you're able to afford, check out her shop and give her some support. The other thing is, if you didn't see my Facebook, I don't think I posted this on Instagram yet, I am now a Knit Crate ambassador. Somebody from Knit Crate reached out to me to consider being an affiliate with their company. And so if you don't know what Knit Crate is, because I know there's a lot of other podcasters out there that have done Knit Crate. Knit Crate is a subscription box service for yarn. And they have about 4 different options, but I'm going to tell you about the most common one, because this is the one that they're going to send me. And the most common is called just their Knit Crate subscription. It's their first one, it's their most common, it's probably the best value, to be honest. It is 2 skeins of beautiful hand-dyed yarn, two patterns, 1 knit and 1 crochet. It's free shipping, and it is all natural fibers, so it's their in-house hand-dyed luxury yarns. It is $24.99 per month for this. Now, $25 a month, you're thinking, well, that's a lot to spend on yarn. Let me tell you the value, because I am thinking, just thinking about the value of this before they even, well, after they asked if I wanted to be a part of it, I went to research it. And so here's what you get. The 2 skeins of yarn and the 2 patterns. The 2 skeins of yarn are valued at $25 a piece. So you're already, for $25 a month, getting buy one, get one free of beautiful hand-dyed yarn. Now you're getting a knit pattern and a crochet pattern, a $10 value, completely free, essentially. And then free shipping worldwide. Not a problem if you live anywhere on this planet. Free shipping. So again, 2 skeins of hand-dyed yarn and 2 patterns. That is a $60 value per month for $25 a month. Already beautiful value. I almost bought it immediately. And that's their most popular. Now they do have a cheaper version, which is $20 a month, but you only get 1 skein of hand-dyed yarn, and I think you only get 1 pattern. They also have a sock crate, which is all sock weight yarn, and I don't remember the price on that one off the top of my head, but that is also an option if you're just a really prevalent sock knitter. But then they also have the artisan crate that is $39.99 a month, and you are getting, it's not Knit Crate's in-house bases, it's the specific hand dyers bases of their beautiful luxury yarns. So if you're looking for more kind of out there yarns, so Knit Crate partners with a lot of hand dyers around the world to bring these yarns to you. And so for some crates, Knit Crate will send out their own bare yarn to the dyer, and the dyer will dye that yarn. But for the artisan crate, the hand dyer gets to use their own personal bases that they enjoy and send that to Knit Crate to send out to the customer. So check out their website. It's knitcrate.com. However, if you are interested in doing this, if you use the code BudgetKnitter20, you'll get 20% off your first month's subscription. Now there is an option to pay a bunch up front and get several things just shipped to you, but those are discounted, so the code won't work for that. But if you use BudgetKnitter20, you'll get 20% off your first subscription box. So I didn't even think that this was a thing until somebody reached out to me, but I've watched different videos on this. Check it out. I think you're gonna love it. If you're somebody who's been looking for the option of hand-dyed yarn at an affordable cost, I think this is a really great way to do it, because you're gonna get 2 patterns with it as well. And I think that's a really great thing, because the pattern isn't just any pattern. It's designed to go with the yarn. So it's beautiful. It's put together so well. Check out some of the other people who have gotten these things and see what they've received. And, you know, it comes on different bases, different weights. Check them out. I think you're going to love it. If you're really interested, again, I will put a link to where you can go to subscribe, as well as my discount code in the video description box below. But I'm really excited. I'm going to be receiving my first box here in a couple of weeks. I'm going to do a review of that for you. And who knows, there might be a giveaway associated. So stay tuned for that. Whew! So many things going on. Okay, so another thing that just happened, I finally appeared on the Tightly Spun podcast, which is hosted by Emily. She is this amazing, amazing person, and she has been putting together this podcast. If you don't know what it is basically celebrating the everyday knitter. You know, we have podcasts of all of these prolific knitters like the Grocery Girls or Joji Locatelli or Susan B. Anderson, all of these beautiful people who are kind of pioneers in the knitting industry right now. But Emily takes the beauty of podcasts like that and gives that spotlight to you and me, to everyday people, just people who knit for the sake of knitting and enjoying it. It gives them an opportunity to tell their fiber story. So we recorded the interview back in February, but it just appeared not too long ago, I think about a week ago. So I'm going to leave a link to her website in the video description box below. Go and check it out. Listen to all of the beautiful, beautiful fiber artists that she has spoken to from around the world. I guarantee that you're going to love it. If you would like to participate, she does have a tab for that as well. You can submit your interest in being on the podcast. I know that come around the end of July or so, she's going to take a little bit of a break. She wants to spend a little bit more time with her family. Absolutely beautiful thing, and she should. She's been working so hard. But again, check out the podcast if you're interested. Go to that participate tab. Say, yes, I would love to be on the podcast. It's just a beautiful thing to do, to share your story about how you knit, why you knit, who you knit for, what kind of knitter you are, just all of these beautiful things. And you can check out my episode as well. So that's on there. And I hope you will do that. It's just a beautiful thing, and it's so easy to listen to. So I hope you will do that. Another podcast that I kind of recently discovered is, his name is Zach Stout, and I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the video description box below. He is a crocheter. He doesn't really do, I don't think he knits, but he does a lot of crocheting. He's only got a few episodes, he's kind of new, but he also kind of covers things from a budget perspective. I believe in episode 7, you know, he was talking about the fact that somebody was basically, I don't want to say insulting, but was not very nice about the fact that they didn't think he should be shopping at big box stores. And he wanted to know why that is, and he wanted to know, you know, why are there some people who, as some of us we would call them yarn snobs, and I believe there are a lot of self-proclaimed yarn snobs as well. And he just wanted to know why. Why is that opinion out there? Because his big thing is he lives 70 miles from a local yarn store, so he shops at big box stores because they're closer to him, and the yarn is more accessible, and also, as beautiful as the yarn at the local yarn store is, he crochets typically in DK worsted or bulky weight yarn. A lot of hand-dyed yarn is fingering, sport, or light DK. And, you know, there are dyers that do worsted or heavier weight yarns, but, you know, for what he wants to do, the bulkier yarns are cheaper at big box stores. And he's like, why is there this attitude that I can't shop at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or Joann's? But he does some beautiful work. He's kind of new to the fiber arts, but he's so much fun. He's got a beautiful personality, and he's so creative with what he does. So go and check him out if that's your thing, especially if you're more of a crocheter than a knitter, or you're doing more crochet as, you know, things tend to roll, because I started as a knitter, but now I also crochet. So if that's something you're interested in, go and check that out. I know there's not a lot of crocheting podcasts. I know there's a lot of knitting podcasts or fiber arts podcasts, but not so much in just the crocheting. So if that's something you're interested in, Zach Stout, I think he calls his podcast something else, but I'm going to link his channel in the video description box below so you can go check that out. Okay, so we have some Etsy store updates. I'm going to be updating on June 6th. There's going to be some new yarn available. I forgot to bring it in here to show you. We're going to have Desert Sunrise available. We're going to have Playing with Mom's Makeup available. I will insert a picture here of those freshly dyed and hanged up on my counter. And then there's going to be a new release. Oh, the other two, those are on fingering weight yarns. Those are 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So if you love socks, that's going to be perfect for that. There's going to be a third, and it's going to be my fall colorway release. That is not going to be on superwash wool. It is going to be on 100% Peruvian Highland wool, but it's called Pumpkin Spice. I don't have, oh wait, no, I do have a picture I can insert right here. And that's going to be the fall colorway. I know there has been some interest in that. That is a sport weight yarn. It's going to be great for hats or maybe mitts, or maybe as kind of a pop of color in a cowl or a scarf. I wouldn't recommend doing a sweater or anything in it because it is going to be hand wash only. With the super wash, you can at least do machine wash gentle and tumble dry low. But for the pumpkin spice, it is a hand wash only. So hope. Just remember that if you are interested in purchasing it. But those should be available on June 6th. I know Desert Sunrise and Playing with Mom's Makeup will be available. I'm actually currently dyeing the pumpkin spice. I actually have 3 hanks currently cooling right now on my stove, and 3 hanging up to dry. And I have 4 more that I'm going to try to dye hopefully before then. So fingers crossed that I get that done. But anyway, that should be going up very soon as well. Oh, also, I do still have a few sets of the stitch markers available if you're interested. The Las Vegas inspired stitch markers. It's 4 stitch markers and 1 progress keeper. However, I do have a made-to-order option on the Etsy store, so if you want more progress keepers or more stitch markers, you know, because some people are crocheters, and the stitch markers don't really work for crocheters because you can't really get them off the work after you use them. So there's a set, you can do like more progress keepers if you prefer. So there's a made-to-order option. Go through there. If you want, you know, something a little bit more specific, then you can check that out and you can order that way. They're $7.50 a piece, so I hope that stays relatively cheap. But let me know if there's anything else that you're interested in terms of purchasing from my Etsy store. I do have a sewing machine that I'm trying to learn how to use, and so I thought about maybe making some like smaller drawstring bags or notion bags or something like that. If you're interested, I don't really know how to sew, so they may not be the greatest quality, but it's something that I'm willing to work on if that's something that you guys want. Okay, we're wrapping up. So, the flax update for attaching the sleeves has been posted on the YouTube channel. So if you are looking to add your sleeves to your flax sweater, that video is available. I encourage you to go and check that out. I am working on a few new giveaway ideas. I haven't really settled on exactly what I want to do yet, because I do have a couple of prizes that I need to sort out for the knit-alongs and charity-along that I've got going on right now. But there are going to be some new giveaways coming up soon, hopefully in the next month or two, so stick around for that. And I'm just trying to get caught up on a lot of things. I have so many projects on the needles right now. I really, really need to work on what I have going right now. The intent is that since I have so many things going, I'm going to try and work on what I have. The only new thing I plan to cast on here soon is another pair of socks, because I always like to have a pair of socks going. But other than that, I really want to work on my boneyard shawl and my Saroyan scarf, which you guys haven't seen in a really long time. The architecture that I've got going, I need to get that working on. And of course, that baby blanket, I need to have that done here really soon. So I'm trying to work on the things that I have, because the idea is I've got so many projects that I want to cast on, excuse me, and I'm refusing to do it until I have finished some other stuff. Like, I want to cast on another sweater using... Where did that go? I had a bag, and I don't know. Well, anyway, well, I was going to cast on another sweater and I was going to show the yarn I was going to use, because it's really, really nice. I mean, it's Red Heart yarn, but I love the colorway. So I was going to cast that on, but I don't know what I did with that bag. But I have so many things that I want to cast on, but I have so many things that need to be cast off first. So the idea here is maybe the next month or two that I'm really going to focus on the projects that I've got going, because those really need to come off the needles. Also because I need some of the needles. So remember, tell me which of these sock yarns you like for me to start my next pair of socks. I'm really leaning towards this one, but this is so soft and squishy. I think I'm just going to go ahead and ball them both up and or cake them up, and then I'll wait to see what you guys suggest, because I'm really excited about casting on another pair of socks, because the socks I'm working on are for my sister. I don't get to keep them, and I think they're the best pair of socks that I've knit, so I'm a little disappointed that I don't get to keep them. So anyway, that's going to be happening. So thank you for joining me. I don't really know how long I ranted for, but I thank you for joining me. There's going to be some new updates coming soon, so stick around for that. If you have made it to the end of this video and you are a new viewer, go ahead and click that subscribe button. That way you'll know when I'm posting new videos. I try to do a podcast every 2 weeks, and I throw some other videos in there in between, so that's available. Check me out on Ravelry, add me as a friend, add me on Instagram. I'm really excited to meet those of you who are going to be new to this channel, and for those of you who are returning viewers, thank you so much again for joining me. I hope that everything I've shown you is at least a little different. So we've got so many cool things coming up soon. I do plan to do one of those how much yarn can I get for $25 trips to one of the big box stores. I've been waiting. I'm kind of trying. Some of my stores have been doing like really good sales that aren't typical of the norm, so I'm waiting. Also, they've got a lot of stuff going on clearance right now, so I'm waiting for this weird roller coaster to kind of settle before I do that, because what's the point in showing you how much yarn I can get for $25 if you can't also go out and do the same thing? So we're gonna kind of let that settle a bit before I do that, but I am checking. I'm thinking about those things in advance. So thank you again for joining me. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you again very soon here on the Budget Knitter Podcast channel. Bye.